Alright, what's going on? I just wanted to make a quick video. Today's July 1st, so, gotta celebrate Canada Day with the boys. But, still wanted to make a video anyways. Kinda want to talk about my new favorite scout rifle in the game, Time Worn Wayfarer. I'll never remember this gun's name, but it looks fucking cool. It's pretty sick. Also, feel free to rate the drip in the comments. You know, I'm working on my hunter drip, but I went for an icy theme here. I think it works pretty well with the gauntlets. Anyways, moving into the weapon. Yeah, this weapon's sick. Number one, it looks cool, like when you're using it. The scope is actually really well done. It's basically Vex Mythoclast, but it's pretty cool. And it shoots just like Dead Man's Tale, pretty much. Very little difference there, but so far I've been really enjoying it. I crafted this one with Heal Clip Incandescent. This thing is an absolute monster when it comes to clearing ads. The Incandescent obviously applies Scorch, which helps taking out all the lower rank stuff, especially Scions. I'm going to be playing gameplay of the Shrike that I used this, but I assure you I use this on everything, and it pretty much performs the exact same way. Obviously, Grandmasters and stuff like that will be a little different. Scout rifles aren't really popular, so I think it's kind of interesting to actually have a really good scout rifle this season. There's not many scout rifles that are good to use, really. Like, you can get good rolls on scout rifles, don't get me wrong, but most of them just feel like shit, either because they're slow or because they don't have enough capabilities to remove ads fast enough. Like, even something like Hung Jury, like the best ad clear perk you're gonna get is probably something like Firefly, maybe an explosive payload. And that's the case with a lot of scout rifles. But what I will say is this scout rifle, the Time Worn Wayfarer, has some pretty disgusting rolls you can also get on it. I don't think it's the best roll, you know, god roll, whatever you want to say. But I just kind of prefer Incandescent on it for the ad clear. Not many scout rifles can ad clear the way Time Worn Wayfarer can, so that's why I kind of like it. It's fast, easy to reload, because it has the whole chamber reload instead of the magazine, as most scout rifles end up having the magazine, so it's a little, I think it's a little faster, but it feels better. It's hard to really explain, but it just feels better, you know what I mean? But, with the reload that's quicker but longer for the magazine sort of thing, I like to run Heal Clip just because you get it per reload, so you can kind of reload, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, and just spam ×2 cure. It's very nice for that. Outside of just the healing and the incandescent ad clear role it serves, the weapon just feels really good to use. Even in PvP, a little bit of different story. Scout rifles are a little iffy sometimes. You're better off probably using something like Mida Tool, what's it called, Jade Rabbit, and you know, some of the slower archetypes, or some of the ones more sort of pandering towards like long range combat. But I will say, so far I've been very much enjoying Time Worn Wayfarer in pretty much all forms of content. I've brought it to stuff like the they're not called heroic story missions. I don't remember what they're called in the Pale Heart. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking look this up. It's just like the campaign missions that are hard for Microcosm. Whatever they're called, I don't really care for the name. They are fairly difficult, I would say, but the scout rifle holds up pretty well in even those types of activities. It being a... I was gonna say it being a solar weapon, it does barrier, but that's technically radiant. Incandescent applying Scorches definitely helps with the ignitions for all the ad clearing. So that's very nice. And then, of course, it has its intrinsic perk called Radiolaria Transposer, which basically means every time you kill an ad, there's a random chance that there's a little pool. I don't know what it is. It might be, it kind of feels like it's a 1 in 5. It does say rapid final blows causes them, but I've had enemies just die, like my first enemy kill, and they'll drop a pool, so I'm guessing it's more like a chance than it is rapid final blows. Maybe it's enemy difficulty or something, but regardless, it also adds on to the ad clear, and for primaries, I think you're really looking for something that can ad clear as a primary, especially in the still hunt meta, where you're most likely using a special weapon like still hunt, or maybe even like, you know, your exotic slot being microcosm, or, you know, basically you want 2 weapons dedicated to dealing boss damage, and then you want a primary really good for ad clear, or just a solid primary. And I do think this scout rifle definitely fills the role. Really sucks that it is in the still hunt slot, so you can't run it as a hunter, as I am, but it's still good nonetheless. Works well with solar surges, so you could probably run it with, like, you know, Galahorn in those meta scenarios where you're using rockets for damage. You can run it with, like, Xenophage. I know Xenophage is a little bit more popular. Stuff like that. It's also a primary, so you can run, you know, Arbalist or the new fusion rifle from the raid. I forget what its name is, but the really cool burst strand fusion rifle. I think those are all viable options, to be honest. And I just think it's a really, really good, just filler weapon, you know? Like, when you're thinking of weapons and you're like, ah, shit, I really need something for ad clear, and you're maybe not a hunter, or maybe, like, still hunt is just, like, not what you're feeling today, you can kind of just run the scout rifle and have a good time. Easy to clear groups of ads, really good for self-sustain, and, pretty decent, like, damage for a primary, obviously, you know? It's got good range, great stability, especially if you attach counterbalance to it. Personally, I crafted mine. You obviously don't need to craft yours. There's many rolls you can get for it. There's the one that increases precision damage. I think there's even the one that you get class ability energy, so you can do some synergy with that. It's pretty cool, pretty good. Synergizes with all the scorching, spreading stacks, fragments, and everything. Causes ignition, so it definitely synergizes with that. Really good with the Hunter Prismatic, where getting any elemental kill basically causes you to go invisible, as long as it's like one of those elemental damages, like the ignitions or volatile or whatever. And ignition basically procs invisibility all the time, so you can essentially get a kill, cause the explosion, go invis. While you're in the reload animation, you're turning invisible so it doesn't cancel, or you reload while you're invisible. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you reload, you heal, and then you're back in the gunfight instantly whenever you want, you know? It's really, really good and really, really underrated. There definitely isn't, like, a lot of scout rifles that really compete for any sort of ad clear, you know what I mean? Like, even the exotic scout rifles are, in my opinion, more pandered towards, like, a PvP situation. Dead Man's Tale, obviously, and then, like, you have the Mida multi-tools and stuff like that. The closest thing I can think of is possibly Imperative, if you wanted to run that, but I just think Imperative looks ugly as fuck, and it feels like shit to use. It just feels really, really slow, and that's obviously because it's a slower fire rate, but it's really nice to have a better, it's actually, I think, slightly faster now that I'm looking at the stats. Anyways, regardless, Imperative feels like shit. I'm glad I'm using Time-Worn Wayfarer. But all the seasonal weapons so far seem to be fairly decent. Every season just seems to get better and better. That's kind of just what Bungie likes to do. And this season didn't disappoint. I'm happy with the Scout Rifle. I'm happy with everything going on there. But yeah, if you disagree and you think the Scout Rifle is shit, I just think you're wrong. But if you like my opinion, you like my breakdown of the weapon, and I maybe crafted some theories for you, I'd appreciate leaving a comment down below if you want to comment your role that you might be running with Time-Worn Wayfarer. Maybe I'll try it out. Maybe I'm using a dogshit role and yours is better, and I'll try it out. You know, is what it is. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great Canada Day, and yeah.